Easily find, book, and manage your travel nursing assignments with the AMN Passport app. Download today. All right, let's go through our last scenario that we have curated. So this next one, we have a sick admission, and that's close to change of shift, or something that,
And
you get somebody at 6:15 on the unit, and how do you navigate that?
so what's interesting was I actually got to learn about how transfers actually work within a hospital and a big hospital, and how I had a friend who took a house supervisor position and was explaining it to me, and actually shed a lot of light as to why these things always seem to happen at the change of shifts.
Mm,
It has a lot to do with when rounding occurs, when um, when doctors put their notes in, when doctors sit down and put their orders in, when
mm,
the environmental services clean the rooms, when people get discharged, and it just kind of happens around between 4:30 and 7 is when all
interesting.
those things come together, all those different pieces. I actually learned a lot from her when she took that position. But I think one of the things that we have to think about is when a patient comes up and it is within a reasonable, very close to the change of shift. Um, Nursing is a 24-hour job.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that patient came on your shift, while you cannot just say, shrug your shoulders and say the next shift will take care of it, you don't have to stay until 9 o'clock to complete that admission.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think one of the most important things to realize is, you do what we do as nurses, which is assess. Give that patient an assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they're safe. Make sure they're appropriate for their unit. If they're not appropriate for your unit because of whatever medications they're on, or whether your unit doesn't take titratable drips and they are on a titratable drip, whether they have a condition that needs telemetry and you don't have telemetry, start that ball rolling for the next shift, and start at least your physical assessment
Mm-hmm.
on your patient and get that into the computer and get that done, because that's what we do as nurses. We assess, and we take action based on those assessments. So as long as we start doing that, we're golden.
Yeah.
Anything else that you do, anything extra you can get done, is a bonus. But at the end of the shift, you already have a lot of things stacked up that you have to do. You have to complete your notes. You have to, finish up your, which is I always my personal theory on nursing is I start getting ready for change of shift at 4:30 p.m.
Yeah. That's nice.
Um, whether that is making sticky notes with my summary for the day for how I'm going to give my report, whether that's starting to take out garbage and linens from the room, starting to tidy up the room, whether that's, making sure I'm pushing all my medications, getting them done as early as I can. If there's anything that's towards the end of the shift, doing all my I's and O's, charting everything for the day, starting that process at 4:30 so that I'm not in a mad rush
Yeah.
between 6 and 7. Um, but there are going to be things that stack up on you. Nursing is a job, but the conveyor belt doesn't stop moving because you have to pause.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be stuff stacking up, and it's important remembering this is a 24-hour job, and you are a member of a team, and teams support each other. You don't just support the team; teams support each other. So
Yeah.
if we share that workload of that assessment, and start the ball rolling on anything we find that's out of the norm. If
Mm-hmm.
we get the patient and we're doing an assessment and we hear crackles in their lungs, and we look in their chart and there's nothing about that coming in, we have to take some action. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure our patient is safe, making sure that we've got all of our fall precautions in on our patient, making sure also that the patient is who they're supposed to be, is make sure we've identified the patient, matched them with their band and their ID numbers.
Yeah.
We don't have to go and delve deep into the background of how well do you do your ADLs, and
Mm-hmm.
how have you been eating over the last 2 weeks? Have you lost any weight unintentionally? We don't have to dig that deep into it. We have to make sure our patient is safe and make sure we've done a basic assessment on our patient's physical condition. And doing even more focused assessment on whatever they're here for is even better on top of that.
Yeah.
But it is a 24-hour job, and I think a lot of people will do it because they don't want. I don't want night shift to be mad at me. I don't want night shift to be mad that I didn't do it. But you know what? The way you pay them back is when they have an admission that comes at 6:45 in the morning, you give them
You take
exactly
it
the
on.
same amount of tolerance and patience and grace that you would like to receive from them. Just the
Yes.
same way we talked about, the key to delegating is also being delegatable. The key to working a 24-hour job is accepting the work that is left over from the shift before yours as well. And that's
Yes.
not to say allowing somebody to not do their job, but recognizing that things occur at the change of shifts, and not giving people a hard time about the things they can't control.
Yeah, for sure. That is such great advice because that's a good thing too. I think sometimes part of a toxic environment is when you're giving a report to somebody and they're like rolling their eyes because you didn't, complete X, Y, or Z. And, like you would think they would have this shared understanding, like not everything is going to get done when we want to get done. And, they have no idea what happened in the 12 hours that I just went through, and it was chaos and it was crazy. And, so I didn't get to bladder scan this person at the 6-hour mark that I was supposed to do that. Like, you just pass it off. And I think now as a seasoned nurse, I never, probe into like, well, why didn't you do this? A lot of like, I will figure it out, like I just let me know what needs to get done and I will get it done.
Right.
Because I want them to know that I'm a safe person to pass things off onto, because I know, things get crazy. And then when I didn't get everything done, I'm going to pass that on to you. And I don't feel bad about that at all. If it's
right. And, as long as you've got a good reason why you're doing it, it's not,
right.
because I was, making TikTok videos, or
Yeah.
because the Starbucks kiosk opens up at 6 and I wanted to get a double shot, as long as you have a good reason, people are pretty understanding.
Yeah.
About things, because it happens to everybody. It's the way that this job works.